Incredible discovery. 8-year-old girl calls 911 as heroic German Shepherd reveals shocking truth. Mia was an ordinary 8-year-old girl living in a picture-perfect suburban neighborhood, where the laughter of children filled the air and the smell of grilled burgers wafted from backyards every weekend. On this bright Saturday afternoon, she took her loyal German Shepherd, Max, on an adventure into her expansive backyard. She felt invincible with Max by her side, with the warm sun embracing her and the vibrant flowers swaying in the gentle breeze. This was her kingdom, a magical place known only to her. As Mia explored, she kicked at the dirt beneath an old oak tree, suddenly feeling something solid under her foot. Curiosity piqued, she knelt to investigate, and her breath caught in her throat. There, hidden below layers of leaves and soil, lay a cache of broken jewelry, old wallets, and crumpled cash, a surprising stash of stolen goods. Her heart raced. Was this what the recent burglaries in the neighborhood were linked to? Before she could think twice, she grabbed her dad's old cell phone from her pocket. 911, what's your emergency? The operator's calm voice felt distant compared to the whirlwind of thoughts in her head. With each word, her voice trembled but found strength. I found some things that might be stolen, in my backyard. As the realization of her discovery sank in, the pressure built. She was doing the right thing, wasn't she? The call sent waves through her family and neighbors like ripples across a still pond. Mia's dad, a hard-working small business owner, felt the weight of the world pressing down on him. His face tightened, the mounting stress from work mixed with the fear that they might be targeted next. He glanced at Mia, searching for answers. Meanwhile, her mom's protective instinct flared. Mia, why would you call the police? She asked, unsure of what this would mean for their tight-knit community. Dread filled her heart as she noticed her mother's concern. Would they refuse the help of the police they once welcomed? Suddenly, the warmth of familiarity faded as whispers filled the air, turning familiar faces into suspicious silhouettes. Old friends now scowled at each other, questioning alliances and intentions. Each barbecued hamburger they'd once shared now carried a heavier weight, reminding them of the innocence lost alongside that trust. And yet, in the midst of this chaos, Mia's innocent bravery sparked something deep within everyone. Her actions rallied neighbors, igniting discussions on safety, loyalty, and collective responsibility. Everyone was on edge, piecing together frayed relationships and hidden fears. They questioned what justice truly meant. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Moments of tense silence transitioned into heated debates as emotions ran high. Just when Mia thought the community was coming together, a shocking twist came to light. The identity of the thieves wasn't what they all assumed. As she stood with Max, the weight of this revelation pressed deep inside her chest. She felt their eyes on her, the battle of truth versus friendship waging within. Should she speak up and risk everything? Or stand back and preserve the fragile peace around her? As shadows of uncertainty loomed over her neighbors, Mia felt the urge to act. Would she have the courage to confront the truth? The ticking clock seemed to echo the heartbeats of everyone around her. The question pulsed in the air: would her innocent bravery save or shatter everything she held dear? Mia looked around, her stomach knotting tighter with each passing second. The neighbors she had grown up playing with were now staring at her, their expressions a mix of support and suspicion. She sensed the tension and dreaded what might come next. Could she really bring the truth to light? What if it shattered the lives of the very people she cared about? Max, as if sensing her distress, nuzzled against her, providing a spark of comfort. "Hey, Mia," called out Mrs. Thompson, her voice shaky. "You sure this is what you want? I mean, these aren't just forgotten treasures, right? They're stolen. Mia held her breath as the weight of her discovery sunk deeper. What if they were all wrong? What if the people she thought she knew were innocent after all? I don't know. But what if it means someone could get hurt? Or worse? Her voice trembled, and she felt the tears forming but quickly blinked them away. She wanted to be brave. She wanted to help, but the fear gnawing at her heart made her question everything. As murmurs grew louder, some neighbors exchanged frantic whispers. Mia caught snippets of conversations. Can you believe it? I thought they were nice. Who would do this to their own community? Suddenly, her best friend Emily stepped forward, her brown eyes wide but determined. Mia, you did the right thing. We can't let fear control us. If there is something wrong in our neighborhood, we have to face it together. It was a simple comment, yet it gave Mia a glimpse of hope. She looked at Emily, feeling the warmth of their friendship wrap around her like a blanket. You think so? Absolutely. We need to trust that the police will help us. Mia nodded, feeling emboldened by her friend's support. You're right. If they figure this out, we can help our neighbors. Maybe even catch the thieves. Emily held Mia's hand tightly, and for a brief moment, the weight of the world lightened. The message from Max's unwavering loyalty pushed through her fear. Then, without warning, the unmistakable sound of sirens echoed down the street. A wave of mixed emotions washed over the crowd. Relief mingled with anxiety. Would the police understand? Would they believe Mia's story? As the police cars pulled up and officers exited their vehicles, Mia felt a rush of panic but also a strange sense of hope. She took a deep breath, standing taller. I have to tell them. With Max by her side, she stepped forward. The officers approached cautiously, their eyes scanning the crowd. One of them noticed her timid approach. Hi there. What's your name? One officer asked. Mia, she stuttered, a lump forming in her throat. I found stuff in my backyard. Stuff that's stolen. Her voice wavered, but determination filled her heart. As she began to explain, she saw the neighborhood's faces shifting from skepticism to curiosity. Maybe, just maybe, her truth would spark something greater. But as the officers crouched down to talk to her, she felt another twist in her heart. What would happen if they uncovered something that could tear her community apart? What if the thieves weren't strangers but people they had trusted for years? Just as she prepared to plunge deeper into her explanation, the officer's radio crackled to life with an urgent message. The words rang out with an urgency that froze Mia in place. We have a situation at the edge of your neighborhood. Potential suspects sighted. Mia's throat went dry. It felt like the world shifted beneath her. What did this mean for her and her community? Would her innocent bravery put everyone at risk, or would it save them in a way she never expected? The officer glanced at Mia, searching her eyes, and she realized it was now or never. Would she reveal everything she knew, knowing it could lead to chaos or even danger? Her heart raced, and with a deep breath, she looked up at the officer. Would she be brave again when it mattered most? A question begged to be answered. Could Mia navigate this tangled web of loyalty and truth and find courage when it was most needed? Mia's heart raced as the officer's eyes locked onto hers, radiating concern and urgency. She could feel the crowd behind her, tension thickening in the air like summer heat. Would her small voice carry enough weight? Would it matter at all? I saw something. In my backyard. Things that didn't belong to me. They're stolen, she blurted out, every word tumbling from her lips. It felt like her confession echoed around her, bouncing off the trees and houses, landing in the ears of everyone watching. The officer's brow furrowed, clearly processing what she was saying. Can you show me exactly where you found them? Mia felt a surge of resolve wash over her. Yes. Right over here. She glanced back at Emily, who nodded encouragingly. With Max trotting faithfully by her side, she led the officer through the gathered crowd, the murmurs swaying like a restless tide. When they reached her yard, Mia pointed to the area where she had unearthed the forgotten items. "It's right there, under the big oak tree. I mean, I didn't dig it up on purpose. It was just there." The officer knelt down, inspecting the scattered objects, from the tarnished silver trinkets to the worn-out toys. "These are definitely not yours," he murmured, his voice steady but edged with something serious. As he pulled out a flashlight, Mia watched his expression change from curiosity to concern. "Have you seen anyone suspicious around here?" Mia hesitated, glancing back at the worried faces in the crowd. She thought of Mrs. Thompson, who often kept her garden well, or Mr. Henderson, who was known for his long walks around the neighborhood. Could it be one of them? No, just the usual people. The officer raised an eyebrow, still examining the items. "All right, let us see what we can do here." Mia's pulse quickened as he pulled out his radio, relaying details about the items they discovered, but a sudden shout from the street startled her. A young man was bolting down the road, quickly followed by a squad of officers. "That's him. That's one of the suspects," someone yelled. A ripple of realization moved through the crowd, and panic began to set in. Mia felt her instincts kick in. "Wait. I saw him. He was in my backyard last week." The officer straightened, his focus shifting intently. "Are you sure?" he asked, urgency in his voice. "Yes. I remember his face." Mia recalled seeing the youth's graffiti-laden backpack and a distinctive tattoo on his wrist. It hadn't felt dangerous then, just curious. She hadn't thought much about it, but now the connection sparked within her, illuminating the darkness of doubt. Within moments, officers were mobilizing, darting towards the direction the young man had fled. In the frenzy, Mia felt a mix of satisfaction and trepidation. She had contributed to something larger than herself, this was real. She could save her neighborhood. As the adrenaline began to fade, an uneasy sensation settled in the pit of her stomach. What if the young man returned and he wasn't just a thief? What if he felt betrayed? What if he wants revenge? She muttered, glancing back at Emily. The comfort of her friend's presence felt distant now, overshadowed by the looming threat of what they had just stirred. "Mia, you did the right thing," Emily said firmly, but uncertainty flickered in her eyes too. Then, the distant sirens wailed again. Different this time, urgent. Reinforcements? Or something else entirely? Mia clenched her fists, heart pounding harder than before. She had opened a door that couldn't be closed. Would the truth safeguard her community, or would it drag them deeper into danger? As she stood there, surrounded by familiar faces hardening into expressions of worry and resolve, Mia felt small but also crucial. What happens now? She whispered to no one in particular. The question hung heavy in the air, and every eye in the crowd was fixed on Mia, waiting for her next move. Would she step forward into the unknown or retreat into the shadows of uncertainty? With the sound of sirens drawing closer, she took a deep breath and prepared for whatever came next. The moment of truth was dawning, and it would either bond her neighbors or push them apart. What would it bring? Mia's heart thudded in her chest as the crowd buzzed with anticipation. She felt their gazes, heavy with expectation. The sirens grew louder, cutting through her thoughts like a knife. Suddenly, an officer burst through the gathering, radio crackling with orders. "Secure the perimeter. We have a suspect on the run." His voice rang out, driving adrenaline through the crowd. Each person seemed frozen, caught between fear and excitement. "Mia, what if he sees you?" Emily whispered, her voice low, almost lost in the confusion. Mia could feel the weight of her friend's concern, making her stomach twist. I can't just disappear. I need to know what happens," Mia said, her own voice trembling. She wasn't just a kid anymore, she had made her choice. With determination rising, she stepped closer to the officer. "What are they going to do?" she asked, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Ma'am, we're doing everything we can." "Just stay calm," he replied, his eyes darting around, scanning for any signs of the escapee. Mia noticed that some of her neighbors were drifting back, nervous glances exchanged. They wanted security but might not trust her like they once had. An uneasy feeling crept in again. What if she hadn't done the right thing? The weight of being so pivotal pressed heavily on her shoulders, like carrying the world. "Do you really think it was him?" she interrupted, feeling the need to voice her doubt. "The boy I saw, was he dangerous?" The officer paused, looking at her carefully. "It's too soon to tell. We can't jump to conclusions based on appearances alone. He's a suspect, yes, but we aim to handle this peacefully." Mia glanced at Emily, who was fidgeting, biting her lip nervously. She wondered if her friend felt the same knot of worry tightening in her chest. They had started this together, and now here they were facing something bigger than they ever imagined. Suddenly, the sound of heavy footsteps thudded toward them, and Mia's heart surged again. A group of police officers ran past, moving with purpose. She glimpsed movement at the edge of her yard, the young man sprinting back into view, panic etched across his face. "Mia! Get down!" Emily shouted, grabbing her arm. But Mia was frozen, her mind racing. This wasn't just about her anymore. The instinct to protect her neighborhood surged with ferocity. She stepped even closer to the officer, as if her small stature could somehow make the moment more secure. "Wait. What if we just talk to him?" she suggested, her voice reflecting a brave clarity. "Maybe he didn't mean any harm." The officer shook his head, alarm evident in his posture. "That's not how this works. Stay behind me." But as the officers closed in on the boy, Mia could see his eyes darting around, searching for an escape route. Something about the boy struck her. There was fear, but also desperation. "Mia, you have to step back," Emily urged again, her voice trembling now. "Please." Mia cried out, feeling an urge to reach him, to understand. He needs help. At this moment, everything seemed to stop. The neighborhood blurred around her, loud voices mingling with her heartbeat pounding in her ears. She took a step forward, against the growing tide of worry surging from those who loved her. Just before she could call to the boy, a sudden movement drew her attention. An officer stumbled, the air thick with tension. What would happen next? Would she become the bridge between fear and understanding, or would her defiance shatter everything? Mia felt the pull of uncertainty weighing down every decision she made. Her heart raced, not just with fear but with hope. But in that split second, she knew she could no longer stay silent. "Stop!" she shouted unexpectedly. The words burst from her mouth, ringing clear amidst the confusion. The crowd gasped. What had she just done? Would her voice be powerful enough to make a difference? As silence hung once again, Mia's pulse quickened with every heartbeat. Would her bravery connect two sides, or plunge them deeper into chaos? The air was electric with a mix of tension and confusion. Mia's voice echoed through the thickening crowd, the weight of her declaration pressing down on her like a heavy blanket. She watched as the officers momentarily froze, their focus shifting from the fleeing boy to her tiny figure standing defiantly before them. The boy, a few feet away, hesitated. There was a flicker of something in his eyes, curiosity? Recognition? Their gazes locked for just a heartbeat, and Mia felt an unexpected connection, a silent plea for understanding passing between them. His chaotic breaths matched her racing heart. "Mia!" Emily's voice cut through the silence, almost panicked now. "What are you doing? You need to move back." Yet, the fear in Emily's eyes only stiffened Mia's resolve. She wasn't here to run away anymore. Not now, when someone needed her voice. She took one more step forward, feeling the solid ground beneath her feet as she looked back at the officers. "He's not dangerous." Her voice rang out stronger this time, hoping to quell the rising tide of fear that bubbled beneath the surface. The officer at the front, still gripping his radio tightly, frowned at her. "This isn't a game, kid. You need to step aside, please, just give him a chance to talk." Mia interrupted, her throat tightening. "You don't know what he's going through." Across the yard, the boy's breath quickened again, his eyes were wide with confusion, but she could also see uncertainty giving way to a flicker of trust. What if he was just scared? What if he had nowhere else to go? The officer hesitated, trading glances with his partner, and Mia could feel the weight of their decision hanging in the space between them. Time stretched impossibly long, each second feeling like an eternity as the world around her blurred into a dull roar. And then, as if the universe had taken a deep breath, a shift happened. The boy dropped to his knees, hands partway raised in surrender, vulnerability etched across his face. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." His voice trembled, cracking through the air. "I just ran. I thought they were after me." The officers exchanged glances, reading the urgency in the boy's voice while Mia's heart flooded with an unexpected sense of triumph. The air buzzed with momentum. Moments earlier, they were on the brink of chaos, and now they seemed to teeter toward clarity. "See?" Mia whispered to Emily as if the words themselves carried magic. "He just wants help." But as the officers approached, the boy flinched, backing away slightly. "No, wait. Please," he shouted, clearly panicking once more. His gaze darted toward Mia, beseeching her for help. Suddenly, Mia stepped forward again, her instinct to bridge the chasm of misunderstanding overpowering her fear. "It's okay," she said, her voice soft yet firm. "No one is going to hurt you. Just tell them what happened." Her words hung in the air, a lifeline cast into tumult. She could see hesitation on the officers' faces, uncertainty mingling with their professional training. And despite the throbbing fear in her own chest, Mia knew that the moment was fragile. One wrong move could push everything back into chaos. As she took another deep breath, she finally understood why she couldn't look away. This moment was bigger than all of them, a chance to reshape what fear had created. Would she be able to weave understanding from the frayed strands of fear? Unsure of the answer, she felt the spotlight of countless eyes watching her every move, the crowd's collective bated breath mingling with her own. So what happens now? Would she have the courage to see this through, to venture into the unknown? The boy's terrified expression mirrored her wonder. In that moment, the future felt as fragile as glass, waiting for someone to shatter it or polish it into something beautiful. What brave choice would she make next? Mia's heart pounded as she stood there, a bridge between two worlds, the boy on the ground, vulnerable and scared, and the officers, trained but hesitant. She couldn't look away from the boy's eyes, they held a story of urgency and fear that she felt deep in her own chest. "Just breathe," she encouraged him, her voice gentle, trying to wrap them both in a cocoon of calm. "It's going to be okay." She wanted to reach out, to offer him her small hand, but instead, she stayed rooted, hoping her presence alone would convey safety. The officers, however, were in a different orbit, still weighing their options. "You're in a lot of trouble," one officer said, his tone firm but not unkind. "You need to answer our questions. Did you hurt someone?" "No." The boy's voice was desperate, the plea hanging in the air thick with panic. "I was just scared. I didn't know where to go." His sobs echoed, and Mia felt each tremor resonate in her own soul. It wasn't just fear, it was a fear drenched in loneliness, a fear Mia recognized. She opened her mouth to speak again, but Emily's grip on her arm tightened. "Mia, please," Emily whispered, anxiety flickering across her features. "You need to get away from him, now." Mia could see Emily's fear, could feel the urge to retreat tugging at her. But something deeper her heart, her intuition held her steady. "No, I can't let him down," she whispered, like a promise to herself. The boy looked between the officers and Mia, a sense of desperation flooding his expression. "I just ran my mom, she was scared. I thought they were coming for me too." The confession tumbled out like stones, heavy and painful. Mia felt a surge of empathy wash over her. It was only now that she noticed his dirt-smudged skin and the frayed edges of his clothes, signs of a day spent running from something unknown. "Where is your mom?" she asked softly, wishing for the right words to ease his pain. "I don't know," he shouted, tears spilling down his cheeks. "I ran away. I thought I could hide. I didn't mean to." His voice broke, desperation painting every syllable. The officer took a small step forward, dropping to one knee, attempting to meet the boy at his level. Okay, listen. We're not here to hurt you. But we need to understand what's happening. Can you tell us why you're scared?" Mia's heart raced as she watched. The officer's voice was steady, a beacon of assurance that seemed to resonate with the boy. "They were fighting, I didn't want to see. I thought maybe they would come for me next." His voice cracked, revealing the raw edges of his pain. The crowd shifted slightly, murmurs spreading like ripples in a pond. People leaned closer, tension palpable in the air. Mia could see tears in some of their eyes. There was a shared understanding among them, a connection forged by fear and compassion. Mia's stomach twisted with instinct, sensing how important this moment was. "You're safe now," she said emphatically. "Just tell them everything you can." As the boy prepared to speak, the sound of a distant barking cut through the atmosphere. It was urgent and persistent, echoing against the walls of the buildings around them. The commotion caught everyone's attention, eyes shifting toward the sound. The officers exchanged puzzled glances. "Is that?" one officer began, brow furrowing. Mia's breath caught. What if the barking held the key to understanding the boy's fear? What did it mean? "Wait!" Mia exclaimed, her heart racing again. "Maybe the dog knows something. Maybe it can help." The officers didn't move just yet. Instead, they hesitated, uncertainty creeping back in. But Mia felt a sudden rush of hope. The unfolding drama had become more than just words and fear. It was a chance for connection, understanding, and maybe even healing. What truth might that barking reveal, and would it lead them toward a resolution, or into deeper chaos? Mia's heart raced, adrenaline pushing her forward. She wasn't ready to stop yet. She needed to know what came next. The barking grew louder, echoing as if the dog was trying to break through the tension. Mia's heart raced, and she scanned the crowd, searching for the source. Several faces turned towards an alley nearby, where the sound seemed to be coming from. With each bark, her hope spiked. Maybe this dog wasn't just barking but was trying to signal something important. "Can you hear it?" she said, her eyes wide, her voice charged with urgency. "We need to find that dog. It might lead us to Mia, you can't just rush off." Emily's voice was sharp, filled with an edge of fear. But Mia couldn't shake off the feeling. An instinct, a whisper from deep inside her said that the dog could help not just the boy, but everyone involved. Ignoring Emily, Mia stepped towards the sound, her legs moving before her mind could process the risk. The crowd shifted behind her, some murmurs spilling out as people debated whether to follow. "Mia! Wait!" Emily called after her, but Mia was already at the mouth of the alley. Shadows danced as the sun hung low in the sky, painting everything in a golden hue. "Stay here, please," one of the officers said, but Mia shook her head. She could feel the pull of the barking, pulling her deeper into the alley, the urgency clawing at her chest. There, amidst the scattered garbage and bricks, a large German shepherd stood proudly, its tail wagging, as though it recognized Mia's determination. The dog's bark softened as she stepped closer, inviting her to come nearer. "Hey boy, it's okay," Mia spoke gently, crouching down. "Are you trying to help?" The dog moved even closer, its eyes wise, knowing. It seemed to sense both the boy's fear and Mia's compassion. She reached out, letting the soft fur brush against her fingers, grounding her with a sense of calmness amidst the chaos. "Is your owner here?" she asked, looking deeply into the dog's eyes, as if it could somehow understand. And then almost instinctively the dog turned and trotted down the alley, looking back to make sure Mia was following. Mia jumped up, a mix of excitement and fear rushing through her veins. "Come on!" she called back, the commotion of the crowd and officers fading behind her as she chased after the dog. This was no longer just about the boy, this was something bigger, a chance to unravel the layers of confusion and fear surrounding them all. A quick glance over her shoulder revealed the officers debating, uncertain whether to pursue. But Mia didn't care. The dog seemed to know where to go, and she felt compelled to follow. What if the barking held the answers they were all desperately seeking? With determination, she pushed her legs faster, the adrenaline fueling her. She had to know. They rounded a corner, and the dog stopped abruptly, standing vigil in front of a rusted gate. Mia's breath hitched. "What is it, boy? What's behind here?" The dog's ears perked up, and it sat down, watching her intently. For a moment, everything felt still, as if the world held its breath, waiting for her next move. She glanced at the gate, a nagging sense of something important lurking just beyond its metal bars. "Should I?" she whispered to herself, unsure whether to take the next step. What could she uncover in that undiscovered space? Would it reveal the truth about the boy's fears? Heart racing again, Mia reached for the gate latch, her fingers trembling with anticipation before she could push it open. A loud crash sounded behind her, and she spun around, startled. What was happening now? Mia jerked around, her heart pounding against her ribcage. The sound of the crash reverberated in the alley, causing the hairs on her arms to stand on end. She felt the adrenaline surging through her, its ferocity both exhilarating and terrifying. Instinct kicked in. Should she leave the gate and run back? But the dog remained calm, fixated on her. Its brown eyes seemed to say, "Don't be afraid. Trust me." The barking that had led Mia this far rang in her ears like an assurance. It was enough to steady her racing thoughts. In a flash, she turned back to the gate, grasping the latch with newfound determination. "What if there's more here than we thought?" she murmured, flicking the latch open. The gate creaked loudly, echoing in the narrow alley as she pushed it aside. As the hinges groaned, a cloud of dust swirled in the air, catching the last glimmers of sunlight streaming through. The moment she stepped in, a wave of musty air hit her. The small space revealed a clutter of forgotten objects, broken furniture, old cardboard boxes, and what looked like a child's abandoned toy. But it was not the contents of the space that captivated her, it was the feeling of purpose. The dog nudged her gently, urging her to move further in. "Is this where you wanted me to go?" she asked, her voice a whisper now, almost overwhelmed by the mystery enveloping her. The dog barked softly, certainly affirming her deeper purpose. Suddenly, another crash sounded, this time louder, echoing from somewhere outside the gate. Panic shot through her. "We have to get out of here," she urged the dog. But the German Shepherd held its ground, wagging its tail as if to encourage Mia to stay just a little while longer. Pushing deeper into the small area, Mia noticed something glinting beneath a pile of debris. Kneeling, she brushed aside the dust and found a silver locket buried beneath a cracked toy. Her breath caught at the sight of the delicate piece. It was beautiful, yet worn by time. She opened it, revealing two tiny photographs inside. One looked like a little boy while the other was a woman, perhaps a mother. A chill ran down her spine. This could be the boy's mom," she whispered, realizing the depth of the discovery. The boy had been missing, and here was a piece of a lost family. Hope blossomed within her, knowing she might hold the key to answering all the questions they had been shouting into the chaos. But just as she began to process the moment, another crash outside grew louder, echoing urgency through the alleyway once more. The dog barked again, and Mia glanced back toward the gate, her instinct screaming that something was not right. "Let us go," she urged the dog. Together, they rushed back toward the mouth of the alley. As they neared the open gate, a shadow appeared, that of a tall figure moving quickly toward them. "Mia." It was Emily, her face a mixture of panic and relief. "I was so worried. I thought I lost you." The officers were closing in, tension radiating from their every movement. Mia felt caught, like a deer between the headlights. She held the locket tightly in her hand, her heart heavy with the significance of what she'd found but also with fear of what lay ahead. "Emily, you won't believe what I found," Mia exclaimed, her voice trembling. Before she could explain, a voice interrupted from behind the officers. "Mia, we need you to step away from the dog. It's important you cooperate." She looked at Emily, then back at the German shepherd, the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. Mia could sense the importance of what she held close: answers, hope, urgency. But at that very moment, her next decision hung in the balance. With everything swirling around her, would she speak up? Or would she hold on to the secret tightly, not knowing what could happen next? And what would the tall figure mean for her future? As the shadows loomed closer, her heart raced once again. The tension was palpable, the stakes rising higher than ever. What would she choose? Mia's gaze darted between the tall figure, the officers, and the dog. The urgency of the moment pressed down on her like a weight. She could see the concern etched on Emily's face, feel the tension in the air thickening as though they were standing on the precipice of something monumental. "Mia, please, just listen to the officers," Emily urged, her voice tinged with worry. "I know you want to help, but—" Help. That word echoed in Mia's mind. Did she really want to help? Or was she just holding on to this locket, fearing its power and potential consequences? She tightened her grip around the silver necklace, feeling its cool metal against her palm, a small anchor in the chaos. "What do you think, boy?" she whispered to the dog. Its brown eyes were locked onto hers, unwavering and full of trust. In that moment, she understood. This dog wasn't just a pet, it was a bridge to the past, a living connection to the mystery surrounding the boy. "Mia." The officer's voice snapped her back to reality. "Step away from the dog. Now." She took a breath, deciding it was time to speak up. "Wait." Her voice rang out, louder and more certain than she had intended. All eyes turned to her, surprised by her defiance. "Please, don't take the dog away." The words tumbled out of her mouth before she could stop them. He led me to this." She hurriedly held out the locket. The sunlight caught its surface, a flash of silver against the gritty backdrop of the alley. The officers exchanged glances, some with skepticism, others with intrigue. Emily stepped closer, her expression shifting from worry to curiosity. "What do you mean he led you?" she asked softly. Mia swallowed hard, feeling the weight of the moment. "I found this, in there." She nodded toward the hidden space beyond the gate. "And I think it belongs to the boy who went missing. I think it's his mom." The tension shifted. One of the officers, a woman with kind eyes, took a step forward. "Can you tell us more about what you found?" Mia shook her head, the fear and excitement mixing inside her. "I don't know everything. The dog led me there. I just followed him." "Dogs have a way of sensing things," the officer said, her tone calm and reassuring. "We need to investigate this. Can you come with us?" Mia hesitated, glancing at Emily. Her friend nodded, encouraging her. A small burst of resolve ignited in Mia's chest. "Okay," she said, her voice steadier now. But I need the dog to stay with me. We can't separate. The officers nodded, understanding the bond that formed between a girl and her companion. They moved slowly, a little less tense now, realizing they might be on the verge of a breakthrough. As they stepped back toward the gate, the dog stayed close, aligned with Mia as if they were joined at the hip. The sense of purpose surged within her again. Maybe this was bigger than she had imagined. With each step deeper into the hidden area, her heart raced with the potential of what lay ahead. Once inside, the officer began taking notes, while Mia pointed out where she had found the locket. Each piece they discovered held a story, a thread weaving together the fabric of the past. The air was thick with possibility, the space transforming from a forgotten alley to a treasure of lost memories. Then, amid the debris, she noticed a faded photo stuck to the bottom of the pile. "Wait, over here!" Mia exclaimed, her heart racing again. What if this was the key? Just as she reached to pull it free, the loud blare of sirens pierced the air outside. The sound sliced through the hopeful moment, raising the hair on the back of her neck once more. "What is happening?" Emily asked, concern creeping into her voice again. "I don't know, but it doesn't feel good," Mia replied, glancing nervously toward the gate. Were they stepping into danger, or was this the pivotal moment they needed? Before Mia could process it fully, her fingers wrapped around the photograph and she pulled it free. As the echoes of the siren swelled, she turned the photo over, her breath hitching. It was a face she recognized, but why? What she saw next would challenge everything she thought she knew, drawing the lines tighter and deeper around the secrets they were all beginning to unravel. The truth was just beyond her grasp, but one thing was sure: the game was on. "Emily, look at this!" Mia gasped, eyes wide with realization. What had she uncovered? And how would it change everything? Mia's heart raced as she faced her friend, the photograph trembling in her hand. The sun caught its surface, illuminating the image: a young woman smiling brightly, her arms draped around a little boy. "Isn't that the boy?" Emily breathed, eyes darting between the photo and Mia. "Yeah. And the woman looks just like Mia almost couldn't say it, his mom." Suddenly, every conversation they had about missing children and community trust flooded back into her mind, battling against a tide of fear and hope. What if this is the connection? Mia whispered, holding the photo tighter, her heart pounding like a drum. Behind them, the officers pulled closer, their attention now fully focused on the image. "Hold that right there, Mia," said the kind-eyed officer. "Let me see that." Mia extended her hand, knowing this could change everything. The tension in the air shifted again, crackling with the electricity of a potential breakthrough. "Okay, everyone," the officer said as she took the photo. Her tone had changed, now carrying an air of authority that rallied the team around her. "Let us piece this together. If there's a connection to the boy, we need to reach out to his family immediately." Mia's heart thumped in her chest as the officer spoke. What if they could reunite the boy with his mother? Excitement surged within her. Was this her small act of bravery really going to create a ripple effect, bringing their community back together? Suddenly, the urgency in the air escalated as another officer radioed in, calling for backup. The barking dog circled Mia, its presence grounding her amid the chaos. Max, sensing the importance of the moment, stepped closer to her, his loyal gaze reassuring her. Then a decision unfolded, as though the pieces of a puzzle were finally fitting together. "Wait!" Mia exclaimed, her voice stronger now. "What if this boy knows where his mother is?" "Mia, you're right," Emily added, the spark of determination in her eyes intensifying. "He might hold the key to everything." The officers exchanged glances of realization, each coming aware of what this truly meant. "Let us get him," the kind officer commanded, her voice ringing with confidence. Mia felt a mix of anticipation and nervous energy buzzing through her. Could they finally release the hold of fear that had settled on her neighborhood? Within moments, they steeled themselves to confront the boy outside the gate, the hope of answers pulsing through the air. Mia glanced back to the dog, who remained steadfast, as if promising to guide them through whatever lay ahead. As they moved toward the edge of the alley, the siren's wails faded into the background. A crowd had gathered at the entrance, whispers swirling like leaves in the wind. That very tension she had felt earlier was now transformed into something greater, a collective hope that maybe, just maybe, they would find understanding. "Stay close," the officer instructed, and Mia nodded, her resolve deepening as they turned the corner. The boy was still crouched on the ground, eyes darting nervously between the officers and Mia. The fear that had once filled him was palpable, but amongst it was a glimmer of trust as he saw Mia approaching with confidence. "Hey," Mia called gently, lowering herself to his level, as the officers stepped back to give them space. "I found something that might help. We need to talk." The boy shifted, hesitance still visible but slowly easing. "What is it?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I think I know who your mom is," Mia replied, her heart swelling with empathy. "I found a picture." Her hands trembled as she pulled out the photograph, extending it toward him. As his eyes found the image, a mix of emotions flared, a spark of recognition, followed by a rush of tears. "That's her!" he exclaimed, covering his mouth with his hand. Mia felt a rush of warmth flowing through her. This was it. In this moment, lives could change. "Do you know where she is?" The boy nodded vigorously, tears spilling down his cheeks. She was at the park, I think. I ran away because of the fighting. I didn't know where to go." Understanding flooded the air, every heart present responding to the boy's honesty. "Then let us go find her." Mia jumped up, adrenaline coursing through her. The officers quickly radioed in, mobilizing a team to scour the nearby park. Everything shifted into action, the communal bond rekindling as neighbors remained on the edges of the scene, awaiting the uncertain outcome. As they moved toward the exit of the alley, Max trotted beside Mia, his presence a comforting reminder of courage and loyalty. Behind her, the boy hesitated momentarily, still overwhelmed by emotions. "It's okay," Mia reassured him, reaching out to lay a comforting hand on his shoulder. "You're going to be okay." Doubt lingered in his eyes, but she could see hope daring to flicker in the corners of his heart. He nodded, taking a step forward, the trust repairing the broken threads woven into their community. As Mia led the way, she felt the warmth of solidarity swelling in her chest. With each step, she realized they weren't just facing the unknown but also had entered the realm of understanding, where fear could be vanquished by compassion, and hope could bloom in the unlikeliest of places. The moment they approached the park, the sun broke through the clouds, casting a radiant glow illuminating their path. And in that light, under the shared watch of eager neighbors, Mia was ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing now that bravery and honesty could indeed save a community. As they stepped into the park, Mia felt the unwavering bond she had forged not just with her loyal dog, but with every person surrounding her. They were not just individuals, they were a tapestry of resilience, woven together through a common desire for truth and safety. The climax of the moment unfurled right before them, a reunion on the horizon, where lost connections could be restored and healing could begin anew. Mia took a deep, steadying breath, aware that this was the defining moment, the crossover from fear to understanding. And she wouldn't let it slip away. As the rush of anticipation danced in her heart, she couldn't help but smile, for she learned that sometimes, it just takes one brave voice to change the story forever. If you felt inspired by Mia's journey and the power of courage and truth, you need to subscribe now. Hit that bell and mark all notifications so you never miss out on these heartwarming transformations. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find these stories that matter. I want to hear from you. Comment your reactions and thoughts about this ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel, so show your love today.